when we talked to some of our older clients and they had their first mortgages in the teens, the one thing that was drastically different then is the housing price, right? Folks were buying their first house for 30 grand or 40 grand or something like that.
Anything else on client questions?
Yeah, I've got another one. And this is for probably most of our younger clients or maybe even some of our clients' kids. We're in a part of the market right now, jumping over to real estate. We're in a part of the real estate market that we've never seen before, where the affordability is the worst U.S. history, maybe, at least in our lifetimes. And the question I've got from younger folks is, should I try my hardest to try to buy a home right now? Or does it make sense maybe to rent and try to save some money? Everything is just unaffordable, and it's very, very difficult for younger folks to get into a home. So I've got a chart here that shows a buy versus rent. And what you're looking at here, even though rents have gone up, and anyone who's in the rental market or looking to rent a home or apartment will tell you that it has gotten more expensive to rent. No argument there. But if you look here on the cost to buy, it's dramatically different. And the two drivers of that is going to be interest rates have doubled. In some cases, nearly felt like they've tripled. At the same time that housing prices have gone up 50%, some more, some less, depending upon the markets, just within the last couple of years. So when you have interest rates doubling and home prices up 50%, the cost to get into a brand new home, or any home rather, is dramatically more than what the increases we've seen in rents. And so without knowing everyone's individual situation, my kind of high level advice, if you're looking to get into a home at this point and you're currently not in a home right now, the math says it still makes sense to rent, save money. And so that way, maybe you could get into a home with a larger down payment. You're not having to finance as much if the rates are still around 7 or 8%. But those would be kind of one-off questions, but just very high level, I think it's interesting to see where housing affordability has gone.
Yeah, it looks like in 80, according to this chart, in 81, it was probably worse. And going back to 06 is about as bad as it's been, as bad as it shows now. But yeah, 81 or those are the times when clients talk to us about 15% mortgage rates,
and they were happy,
and 18% CD rates. And I'm really hopeful we don't have to see that again.
I don't have the chart, Chris. Now, you made a point as far as it being out of whack on the buy versus rent, but I think this is the worst we've seen as far as percentage of take-home pay going towards housing. I think right now in this country, we're 44% of the average American's paycheck goes to housing. That old rule of thumb we always used to hear about where, it was like a third or 30% of your income would go to housing. Now we're up to nearly half. And that's just because of the rates combined with, when we saw back when we talked to some of our older clients and they had their first mortgages in the teens, the one thing that was drastically different then is the housing price, right? Folks were buying their first house for 30 grand or 40 grand or something like that. So the one thing though, that's a little gray or cloudy with this information is the one thing that's changed in America is most people, their first home was like 1,200 square feet. Quite often, 2 kids slept in the same room. And so not only what's happened in America is most of us live in bigger homes now. And we've seen the average square footage of homes dramatically increase throughout the country as well. So the price per foot in a house hasn't gone up that much more past inflation, but home prices as a whole have gone up because the square footage, we're living in much larger homes now. So that affects affordability as well.
To that point too, on the percentage of their income that goes to homes, that's right in line with kind of that max range for qualifying, right? That 45% income level there for your price of your mortgage. It seems like
they'll probably move it, right?
Yeah. Whatever your max qualifying is, what the house you're looking for.
Well, the banks will figure something out, whether they're going to figure out that they'll increase that, even though that'll take more risk for them, or maybe they'll develop some 40-year loan. I think what would be creative, although this isn't in the bank's interest, is that if you could sell your mortgage, when you sell your home, and then that would probably open up the market, because right now who's going to sell their home? That's why there's no inventory, because everyone's got a 4% mortgage or below, so they're not going to move. And it would make sense if you could sell your mortgage, but the bank doesn't want to keep carrying that 3% mortgage. They want it to pay off and then reissue someone at 7.5. So
for sure.
Don't know the solution there.